Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show, the UK's only TV programme that's dedicated to your mental health and well-being. Well, on today's show we look at the impact the world of fashion can have on mental health, and we are joined by Ils Stercx, founder of Belgian fashion brand MATUVU, who will talk about how fashion and mental health are related and how her journey through fashion has led to her success. We'll also be speaking with our regular child abuse prevention expert Marilyn Hawes on the different types of abuse occurring in the UK and the use of the county lines phenomenon. On top of that, Dr. Rob Hicks will be answering all your medical questions. Sanni Sorma will be joining us to show us the cosmetics you need to get rid of now, and we'll also be having a workout with Faye Jejede. But first, let's go over to Ils to talk about her fashion brand MATUVU. Welcome to the show, Ils.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
It's lovely to have you here because today we're going to talk all about fashion and mental health. But first of all, we're going to find out about you and your business. So you've always liked fashion from when you were a little girl, haven't you?
Yes, indeed. My mother told me that I was very picky on my clothes. When I was wearing red shoes, I need to choose a red jacket to match. And later on always I was looking for some stylish pieces, and I think I was born with a fashion gene.
Okay. And how did you actually develop that as you got older?
When I got older, I have to say that I was not really like an addict for shopping, but I was always like interested in fashion, reading fashion magazines, looking for the catwalks, the designer shows. So it was more like the business behind, and not really like, I love shopping for sure, like every woman, most of them, but it was not that I was really like shop addicted or no. So it was really like the business behind that I was very interested in.
Okay. And then how did you actually develop that into a business and what you do today?
Yeah, so when I was 18, I had to choose what to study. And I always wanted to do something in mathematics. But after a lot of hours studying this, I choose for languages, Spanish and French. And later on, when you're growing up, then you're looking for what do you want to do. I was studying literature, so very philosophy, reading books. But later on, I wanted to do something in the fashion business, like how do the brands come to a certain country, and how can you distribute, how can you represent these brands. And at the age of 23, when I finished university, I was really looking just to work over there. I didn't have like a job function or title. I wanted to do something in the fashion business.
Okay, so you knew.
So I started there, yes, as a sales, junior sales.
Okay, and then how did it progress from there?
And then after that, I worked in the company for 3 years. I had a lot of experiences, international contacts, network. And
did you use your languages that you learned?
Yes, like Spanish. I missed Italian, but Spanish indeed, and French. And at the age of 27, you know, you have that feeling, are you going this path further, or you're going to do something else? And at that moment, I decided to start my own business.
Okay. What's your business called?
My business is called MATUVU.
Okay, and what
it's from it's from the French. Like we in Belgium, we have like the Flemish and the French part. And I knew at the age of 18 years, I always said I'm gonna start a business called MATUVU, but I didn't know it was in fashion. And when I went to the accountant, I say my business is MATUVU, and it means like, did you see me? So the clothes we represent, the business we do is like different than the others.
Okay, and what exactly does the business do?
Like the core business is we are looking for international women fashion brands, and we are distributing them in Belgium.
Okay,
so that's the core business. And after this, we also have our own fashion academy, and we help fashion entrepreneurs and starters to grow and to start their business.
What's it like to have your own business then? I know it must, obviously you've had your difficulties, but what's it like overall?
Yeah, I really love it because you can do whatever you want. You can go in the direction you would like to go. So there is nobody who is saying, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this. It's up to me. But sometimes, yes, it's also difficult when you have to do, by your own the decisions and choose the path you go. So
what keeps you going then, would you say? Motivated?
I think the passion for what I do. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Now tell us, obviously today's show we are delving into fashion and mental health. Can you tell us what do you think about that? How can you know the way someone dresses or their fashion sense actually impact that?
Yeah, I really love the subject because like when I was, for example, when you come and they say, oh, I love your clothes, oh, I love your style. So I think clothes is one of the first things that you can speak. It's like a language.
Yes.
So you express yourself to others, you present your identity by your clothes. Yeah. So I think for the link with people mentality is very strong because you want to belong to a certain group or to a certain class, or you want to be like someone, or so I think there's a really strong connection. Yeah,
and also obviously because we have been speaking also about social media quite recently in our programs, and how sometimes people end up feeling quite down about what they see, for example, other people wearing. What would you say about that? What advice would you give to people?
Yes, indeed. I think now today, in the past, like you had all the fashion magazines and the catwalks, women, beautiful thick hair, very long legs, very skinny. And then sometimes like women and girls, younger girls also, they feel a little bit frustrated because we don't have this and we are not looking like that. So yeah, that's a little bit difficult, but now today with the influencers and the social media, brands are looking for a different type of women, different type of girls, and then you can have more like this woman or this girl is like an inspiration for me, and it's not like a frustration. So I think it's a good
inspiration, not frustration.
Yeah,
I like
indeed.
that.
So I think it's a good way to develop this way.
Okay. Yeah. And just like to ask you, obviously, since you do know so much about fashion, maybe if someone wants to kind of change, that they're not happy with the way they're dressing, for example, and they maybe want to change their look, any tips that you could give our viewers, like what kind of maybe what to start with and what to change first? Yeah, that's a very good one, because like what you're wearing, you're feeling also this way. Because when I'm wearing like sporty clothes, I'm feeling casual, sporty, and when I'm wearing like a very nice clothes, then you do like business, or so that's very important. So you have to start, what do you want to feel? And this way you can develop the outfit. So that's the most important. You have to start with the feelings and what do you want to present, but start with your own one and not how you want to be or to belong to some groups. Okay, brilliant. And just one last question for you: is the future for MATUVU? What would you like to do in the future, and what are your plans? Yeah, if it's not top secret, of course. Some of them are top secret. Okay, don't need to go into those. But for the future, yes, I really love to develop like the fashion academy. Also, like we are distributing the brands, but it's also now nice that we can help the entrepreneurs and the starters with their business, how you grow in social media, how you grow with branding, personal branding. There are, business is much more than only represent very nice clothes today. So I really want to develop this way, and we also have like our own magazine. It's a fashion, fashion business magazine, MATUVU magazine, and this we want to grow also international. Okay, well, thank you so much for speaking to us, and all the best with all your plans, and do let us know how it's all going. Yeah, thank you. That's great, thank you. All right, everybody, now just as relevant to your mental health as your dress sense is exercise, and showing us how to plank like a pro, it's Faye Jejede. Now everyone, it's time to look at this.
So all you're going to need for that workout is a mat. Now guys, this mat can be bought from any shop, anywhere. You can buy them in your local high street, or you can buy them online, okay? So clear a space in your house, get rid of the sofa or move any objects that might be on the floor, and make sure that the kids are not in the way, so you have all the room that you need, okay? So lay your mat out somewhere nice, so you can see me as I do today's workout. And let's get down onto the mat, okay? So, lie down on your side. Good, and have your legs straight out. Okay, so we're going to do something known as side planks. Okay, rest your arms above so your shoulders here, and rest your shoulder in line, like so, and then you're going to lift up like this. Okay, so I'm going to come back down just to show you exactly what we're doing. So you place one hand in front for balance, your shoulders are in line, everything is nice and long, and then we're going to lift up and we're going to work that waist. Okay, let's go. Lift up, breathe, hold it there for a couple of seconds, and then you drop it down. Excellent. Up, hold it there for a couple of seconds, and down. So the waist that we're working, as I said, is here, and the reason why we're working our waist is to give you that nice shapely look to your figure, okay? So it can give you that nice hourglass look when you have a
Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone. So we hope you enjoyed our chat with Ils Stercx of Belgian fashion brand MATUVU as we discussed the overlap in the worlds of fashion and mental health. So we're bringing you more interesting stuff from the world of mental health and well-being later on in the show. But now it's time to talk about an extremely important subject. Now, child abuse is a big issue in the UK, and we're about to go over to our expert on the matter, Marilyn Hawes. But before the break, I asked you which police force in the UK reported the highest number of sexual offences against children in 2016. Was it A, the Metropolitan Police, B, Thames Valley, or C, West Yorkshire? Well, I can tell you that unfortunately the answers are in order, with the rates of offences peaking with the Metropolitan Police, 3,420, followed by the forces in Thames Valley, 1,264, and West Yorkshire, 1,170. So here to talk to us about some of the biggest issues in child exploitation and what can be done about it is Marilyn Hawes.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Hawes and I'm founder of a charity called Enough Abuse UK, and I'm the resident expert with the Chrissy B Show. So tonight I'd like to talk about the difference between CSA, which is child sexual abuse, and CSE, which is child sexual exploitation. Now, a lot of people think, what's the difference? It's a huge difference, actually. Well, the common denominator is children are sexually abused, but sexual exploitation is incredibly brutal. Very little gentle grooming takes place, and I want to focus this evening on CSE. These exploitation gangs are working big time in every town, and they're looking for vulnerable children, children maybe that are hanging around, seeming no place to go. These people are absolute experts at smelling vulnerability. You know, 13-year-olds hanging around, this is the age group that they're trying to target. They are even now targeting actually school gates. And it starts with targeting those vulnerable children. And what should we notice? Well, you want to see who's hanging around. The children that will be suffering from this exploitation will be very defensive, they'll be very moody. There's probably nothing different to the average teenager, but excessively so, excessively tired. Maybe they can't even get up till 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. They will have changed their underwear from ordinary sort of young teenage underwear to something incredibly sexual. Their taste in music, you'll notice they probably won't see so much of what were their friends that you're familiar with, and now they have friends that are slightly older. Taxis, what are the taxi drivers doing knowing them? What's that all about? Why has my child got some scars and funny marks? What's that all about? Why has my child got 2 phones? Because that child will have been given a telephone which will have a tracker in it by somebody from this exploitation gang. Where's my child getting all this jewellery from? Extra jewellery, extra stuff, extra money. What's all that about? You've got to be nosy. Now, parents are actually very pivotal in raising an alarm for the police. Unwittingly, you may well have something of forensic interest to the police in your house. Start noting, write down what you see with your children. That is a change of behavior very rapidly as well, very fixated on their phones. Why do they keep their mobile phone screen down? Why would you? Because you don't want somebody to see something. Why, when they get a message, are they up on their toes out the door? Why? Why are they taking those calls outside of where you are? So where do these people hang out? Well, you're looking at parks, leisure parks, huge problem where you've got a mix of bowling alleys, cinemas, different sorts of food outlets, especially near railway stations where people can be trafficked very, very quickly. Railway stations are a risk. And as I say, young people, the same age as some teenagers, and they're hanging around the school gates, trying to see if there's somebody walking home alone. And that child of 13, 14 will be infiltrated by somebody a similar age. So it won't be somebody of 60 years old. And that child will befriend. So we are actually getting back to something that resembles stranger danger, actually, which has gone out with the brown football. But I think we need to be bringing it back in again, in a way, because if people are approaching you who you don't know them. So this is how they are approaching, trying to groom you, offer you money. So a child, a teenager will offer a phone. Oh, you know, we can hook up and chat to each other. Before you know it, you're being given money by that other child, that other adolescent, where photographs of you will be required. What you don't know is, if you don't make that photograph happen, that youngster will be saying to you, well, actually, you've got a young brother, haven't you, called Mark? Well, there's some serious guys I know and they're going to harm him. And the person who's been given this phone won't even see it coming. They won't even know, how does she know that? How does he know that? Well, of course, what the victim doesn't know is there's a tracker in the phone. And so that goes on. Then maybe a few days later, a week or so later, they're still chatting on those phones together, all fine. Oh, let's meet up. They meet up, the stakes run higher, more money is given, a bigger and better photo with more nakedness is required, and the threats increase even more. And that child is 13, be the child. The mother will now be threatened. Your brother will be threatened. The stakes are high and you're 13. Think, how would you be if you were 13 or 14? You're going to try and protect them, but what you don't realise is you are walking into a cesspit of vile behaviour. Now that other teenager then will encourage you, oh, let's go to a party. So what we have here is an inverted triangle. You've got the victim at the bottom. Next line up are the coordinators. They're the people who are actually looking out for the venue, the transport. This is where taxi drivers have a lot. You need to watch them big time. If you see cars parked in the wrong place where you wouldn't expect to see a taxi, or a large car, posh expensive car with blacked out windows, photograph it. We've all got a camera on our phone. Look at the registration number. It might be of interest to the police. And then they go off in these cars, this transport. See, trafficking can be taking somebody from literally one little town street in London or wherever to another street. It doesn't necessarily mean the people coming in at Heathrow Airport are trafficked, which of course they are, but on a lower scale, it can happen from street to street. It is transporting a child to another situation. Then at the top of this triangle is where all the predators are going to be. And in that room, when that child who was given this phone and befriended by that young teenager, when they get to that room, there's going to be 20 men there, 3 times older than the targeted child, so 40-year-old men, all of whom will rape that child in one night. Bounced from man to man, drugged, given alcohol, but then they're hooked, and so it goes on. And they're frightened. Who do they tell? Because they're threatened if they do, something serious is going to happen. And also, those photographs that we've got of you are now going to go out on the internet. You've got to think what it's like if you were 13 or 14. Where do you go? Who do you tell? Now, recently, and very worryingly so, there's a thing called county lines that has come up on the radar. Now, there was a sniff about this in 2015, But the National Crime Agency have got a document out now that came out in November, and I was given it in January, about how these county lines are operating. They basically, as the name suggests, cross counties. It's all run on a mobile network, and these mobile phones are set up and heavily guarded across counties. And the urban gangs, this is all about drug mules and drug movements, and the urban gangs that are dealing in heroin and Class A drugs like cocaine are now reaching out into the community. So how do they do that? They have set up these mobile phone lines across counties into rural towns, into market towns, like sleepy little market towns, and seaside resorts. And they are looking for people who they can use to transport these drugs. Innocent ones, innocent. Targeting mainly at the moment are boys between 14 and 16. They are the target, and they are looking for youngsters who, a slang word but used in that business, have clean skins. Now, clean skin is nothing to do with washing. It's about you are the last person the police would ever look at. You have no criminal record, you've never had your collar felt. Nice, decent young lads who are being approached and asked, you know, would you like, you know, money in this? And you get on a train, you're bought a train ticket, and you just go somewhere and you pop off and you exchange 2 envelopes. In that one envelope, the child doesn't know it's got cocaine or heroin, and in return there's cash, and back you come again. So these youngsters aren't expected to get their own railway tickets, they're got for themselves. And so those people, they're looking for the runners to do the distribution, are not the people that have the county lines, they're not the one with the mobile lines, but they are acting as the drug mules. Even more worryingly, they are targeting the vulnerable youngsters who are maybe in residential care, who maybe have mental health issues or physical disabilities, who are also very vulnerable, who will also be approached and befriended. And then you invite yourself into that person's home. And this is called cuckooing. And in that person's home, you're held prisoner, the whole family, for about a week. And this is where schools need to be looking as well. Why is that child absent? For a short moment in time, a few days, that family will not be able to move, while the drugs are stored in that place, delivered in that place, and then they move on. But besides houses now, there's a lot of holiday lets that are being used, caravan parks, serviced apartments, hotels as well, but hotels are more at risk because you've got people now that are more educated in hotels to look for suspicious things. Now, this is very, very dangerous because once you've even been hooked into all of this, then up goes the stakes. If you want to not do what you're expected to do, you can look forward to severe sexual abuse and rape. About 50% of the lads have said they have been raped because they weren't doing as they were asked or thought something was wrong and they wanted out. There are conservative estimate, there are 720 county lines in the UK, well, Wales and England actually, corrected. We were still waiting for the Scotland figures, but the police know 720 and rising. And it's very interesting, they're very clever. They're not very much, there's not been very reports as into the nightline economy, the nighttime economy. It's daytime, where there's less suspicion of people moving around and youngsters who are just innocent 14-year-olds getting on and off trains. But you are looking at it, railways need to be very alert, and people in railway stations, particularly vulnerable are the railway stations that maybe lead in to these leisure parks where there are all these different places. There is one food outlet at the moment, which is a very leading chain in beef burgers, that across the UK is a terrible problem for targeting these innocent children and then grooming them to very quickly become exploiters and those drug mules to work for them. And of course, if you've got these leisure parks near motorways, it's very quickly to get onto one of the junctions and off you go. And you know, I think we are going back to, you really need to start now where we had ignored it. We need to start looking again back at stranger danger. You won't know these people if you don't know them. For goodness sake, don't engage with them. If you want these documents, you can email me. I can send you a whole load of stuff on child sexual exploitation, how it works, what to look for. I can send you the document from the National Crime Agency. There's nothing precious about this stuff. We want to protect these youngsters. Please, it's in every town, and please stay alert and sit with your children and talk about this. Don't shy away from it, because ignoring it isn't going to make it stop. In fact, you're just helping it continue. So please stay safe, and please email me, marilyn.hawes@ea-uk.org. Thank you, take care.
Thank you very much to Marilyn. Well, don't go away, guys, because after the break, we'll be speaking with our resident Dr. Rob Hicks as he answers some of your medical questions, such as this one. Everyone seems to be concerned about wearing sunglasses to protect their eyes. I never wear sunglasses, and I have never heard anyone getting cancer in their eye because of the sun. Is it possible? Find out what Dr. Rob Hicks has to say after this break. Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, the UK's only TV programme that's dedicated to your mental health and well-being. And on today's show, we've looked at the connection between the fashion world and mental health, courtesy of Ils Stercx of MATUVU fashion brand based in Belgium. We also explored some of the potential dangers facing children in the UK, as Marilyn Hawes of Enough Abuse came on to talk about the differing types of abuse and how paedophiles make use of the county lines. But now, here to answer your medical questions, it's our resident Dr. Rob Hicks. And if you have a question for him, all you need to do is email us on doctor@chrissybshow.tv. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Hi, Chris. You're not going to test me then on the email address?
No, I won't today. I'll let you off this week. Yes, but do you know it?
It is. It's doctor@chrissybshow.tv.
Yes. Well done. Should we get stuck into these questions?
Let's do so.
Okay. So the first question. Everyone seems to be concerned about wearing sunglasses to protect their eyes. I never wear sunglasses, and I never heard anyone getting cancer in their eye because of the sun. Is this actually possible?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Simple fact. Yes, it is. You can develop a cancer on the back of the eye, on the retina. You develop a cancer in the iris, the coloured part of the eye. Wow. And let's not forget, you can develop cancer on the eyelids and around the eyes as well. So it is very important to protect the eyes from UV sunlight, much as it's important to protect the rest of the body. The other thing that too much UV exposure does to damage the eyes is it contributes to cataracts, and it also contributes to macular degeneration. That's when the most sensitive part of the eye that allows us to pick up the detail in faces, for example, becomes damaged, so that sort of vision becomes very blurred. So the simple answer is yes, you can get cancers in the eye, and yes, you should protect yourself, not just with sunglasses, but actually sticking to the shade as much as possible, particularly during the middle part of the day, and also wearing a wide-brimmed hat or a peaked cap, again, to protect the eyes from the exposure to UV.
Okay, so thank you very much for that clarification, Rob. So the next question, I seem to love the pain of mouth ulcers. I like biting them and the pain. Is there any explanation?
It's an unusual thing, isn't it? Really,
it doesn't. Mouth ulcers are painful.
Yeah, it doesn't sound very healthy for starters.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that I would advise you to do is to have a checkup with your dentist, actually, to let them examine your gums. To see if there's any reason why, for example, you keep getting mouth ulcers.
Because it keeps biting.
Or is it actually because they're developing because of biting in the first place? And sometimes they can develop because the teeth are irregular, so that you're catching the gums or they're rubbing, and that's triggering the whole mouth ulcer thing.
Okay.
It's not a good idea to bite mouth ulcers or any parts of the body really, because you risk not only infection and damage but permanent scarring as well. The thing that sort of springs to mind with this, you say that you enjoy the pain of it, is this could easily be a form of self-harm. And so it may be that this is a result of you feeling very, very stressed, very, very anxious, or indeed depressed. And I think in addition to having the gums checked by a dentist, I think you'd benefit from having a chat with your own doctor about this to see whether actually some form of psychotherapy is appropriate for you.
Okay, good point, Rob. Okay, next question. What is a normal amount to poo? I've heard varying things from several times a day to once in a while. What is the best for your health?
That's a really good question. Lots of people ask that.
We've done a whole segment on this, all about poo. We have done in the past, but let's
I think it was entitled "What Your Poo Says About You," isn't it? So, very good question. The answer is what's normal is actually what's normal for you as an individual, and that ranges between for all of us. When you pass the poo, it should be soft and well formed, such that it slides out without you having to strain. That's the first thing. And whether you go once, twice, 3 times a day, or up to or just 3 times a week, that is felt to be normal. If you're going less than 3 times a week, or if you're going probably more than 3 times a day, then you might want to get things checked out. I mean, you certainly want to get things checked out if you're passing any blood with the motions, if there's a change in your bowel habit, so a change from normal, that lasts more than 3 weeks, for example, I think and if there's pain when you open your bowels as well, those are things that warrant a checkup. But generally speaking, what's normal is what's normal for the individual, and they'll be able to you'll be able to figure that out. You say, well, I always go twice a day, or once every other day, or something like that.
Okay, brilliant. Next question, Rob. Why have I had a hard time falling asleep recently? I'm a 19-year-old student. I was fine until about a week and a half ago, and since then I've had trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. I do not take any medications. So at first I thought that it was because there was a lot of noise outside or light. The past few nights though, I have closed the curtain and it's been almost completely silent. The only good thing is that I have been able to deal with only getting 4 or 5 hours sleep a night and still function normally. Should I see a doctor or psychologist for this problem? How about taking some medication?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind in this is what happened a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
So has something changed? So do you have a new flatmate? Has a relationship started or ended? Are you on you've got some coursework, the way the deadline's approaching, and you've been told you've got a week to do it or something? What has changed to trigger things? Because you're quite right to look at things like, is it too bright? Is it too noisy? Is it a side effect of medication? So you've ruled those out. The other thing is, caffeine, for example, stays in the body for many, many, many hours. So if you're consuming anything in the evening, maybe to keep yourself awake to study, then that might be keeping you awake. If you've taken up exercise in the evening, really we shouldn't exercise within 3 hours of going to bed, because it just sort of often keeps people awake. So I think really what you might want to try is the sleep hygiene techniques that actually we have a very good doctor's orders slot about that. Things like going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time, and those sorts of things. Give that a try for a couple of weeks, and if that's not helping, I would have a chat with your doctor, to see whether actually there's some degree of what is it that's stressing you, that's causing you anxiety, that will be perpetuating this.
Okay, brilliant. And by the way, the playlist that you're talking about is called Doctor's Orders on our YouTube channel, and that's Chrissy B Show if you want to check it out. Next question, Rob, are you ready? My little brother is 6 and is underweight and doesn't like to eat almost anything ever. What can I do to help get his weight up? Is it normal for kids to get thin because they're so picky?
Ah, yes. Picky eaters or fussy eaters.
I don't know what happened to me, because I was like that when I was really young, and I just complete opposite nowadays. Just love everything.
And I think, what, that's the reality, is that often it is a phase that children go through, and it often causes more anxiety and frustration for those around them than the child themselves. Yeah. You've mentioned that your little brother is underweight. I think what I want to know is whether that's what you think, or whether he's actually been medically seen. And I think if he hasn't been medically seen, it might be a good idea to get him checked, get him weighed, to see that if he's the right weight for his height and his age, and take things from there. Because often we find that because somebody is, let's say, slimmer than the rest of the family, the rest of the family assumes that that person is underweight, when in fact the rest of the family are often overweight.
It's very true.
Yeah, so that's the first sort of thing to do, and also the doctor will think about whether there's any medical reasons for why, if your brother is underweight, why that's the case, whether it's malabsorption, malnutrition, for example. But sometimes kids don't want to eat because they're constipated, and actually it means that when they feel very full up very quickly, they feel a bit nauseous and uncomfortable, so they stop eating.
That's a good point.
Has something changed within the family dynamics, that's maybe meaning that there's a battle going on with food? But what I would suggest in the meantime is maybe offer him smaller portions but more frequent meals, so that actually, because it might be simply that he's faced with so much that he really can't face it at all.
Okay. All right, next question, Rob. Why does my skin look dirty? I'm a diabetic woman, aged 33. Some parts of my skin on my thighs, upper arms, neck just look dirty no matter how much I wash them. And recently I've been getting blackheads on some of these areas. What should I do? Should diabetics have special skincare routines?
That's a very fascinating question.
Never heard that one.
No, and this, obviously you need to get this skin change looked at to confirm the diagnosis. But it sounds to me like a condition called acanthosis nigrans, which essentially is dark patches that develop on parts of the skin, commonly the neck and the armpits and the groins. And actually when you touch them, they feel very velvety. They're quite common in people with certain underlying medical conditions. So, for example, people who are overweight or obese commonly develop this condition. People like yourself with diabetes often develop this condition, and people with hormone disorders. So, for example, polycystic ovarian syndrome or an underactive thyroid can develop this condition, and sometimes medication can be the cause of it. So there's a number of different reasons why it may happen. Nobody really understands why it happens in the first place. It's thought to be something to do with insulin and how the body doesn't respond to insulin. But I would urge you to get it looked at to confirm the diagnosis, and then the doctor will advise whether any treatment is necessary or not. Sometimes you can improve the appearance of the skin with creams or with oral treatments, but often once the underlying condition is managed, so if the diabetes is kept under control, the condition tends to fade somewhat anyway. So I think that's the first thing, is to just get the diagnosis and then take the advice of your doctor.
Okay, brilliant. Next question, Rob. What causes spots on the tip of one's tongue? My teenage daughter has them, and my wife and I are somewhat concerned. Are these spots normal? If not, what could be causing them?
Okay, well, there's lots of different questions I would have for the parents. Is this a recent thing? Have you noticed these? They've only just appeared. Is it a long-term thing? Are there any other symptoms, for example? And I think two courses of action for this. One is to get the dentist to have a look, or get your GP to have a look, just to identify precisely what's going on. A couple of reasons why. If they're red or white spots, it can sometimes be because of inflammation of the taste buds. And that can sometimes happen if something hot gets on the tongue and burns it a little bit, scalds it a little bit, or if the tongue is scraping along rough teeth, and that can cause inflammation. Sometimes it's down to a vitamin deficiency, but sometimes if it's sort of white plaque type appearance of the spots, then it could be a yeast infection. But more often than not, it's a transient, temporary thing. But I would, get it looked at to be told whether it's something to worry about or not. It's difficult to diagnose without actually seeing it.
Okay, and last question for today, Rob. Why does it hurt at the end when I pee? For about 2 to 3 days now, whenever I go to the toilet to pee, at the end I have a slightly painful sensation. It's hard to describe, it's more uncomfortable than burning, but still hurts. I haven't had any bleeding, but my urine has been fairly clear. When I woke up this morning, my lower back was hurting on the right when I was walking. Do I have a kidney or bladder infection? Well,
that's a really good question, and my advice to you is to get the advice of your doctor, get some medical advice straight away. Because if it is a bladder infection, my concern is that it's moving back up towards the kidneys, and that's why you're experiencing the back pain. Normally it's just sort of, you know, in the loins, just below the rib cage, but you know, if you're getting some kind of back pain, it could be related to the kidneys being infected. Get urgent advice if you're getting, you know, fever, chills, nausea, vomiting, we're feeling lightheaded. The other sorts of things is it could be a sexually transmitted infection. This often causes a stinging or a burning during, you know, urination or just after somebody's peed, or it could be a yeast infection, for example, you know, thrush infection around the area, and that can feel really uncomfortable, you know, after somebody's passed urine. But you need to get this checked out. You need to do this straight away.
Brilliant, Rob. Thank you so much. And we shall see you again next week to answer more questions. Yeah. Thank you. Well, everyone, don't go away, because after the break we have on Sanni Sorma showing us which cosmetics to throw in the bin right away. And I'll be giving you my top tips on how to dress to impress. We'll see you after this. Everyone, and welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, the UK's only TV programme that loves to look after your mental health and well-being. So we hope you've enjoyed today's look at fashion, mental health and well-being, and thank you so much to Ils of MATUVU Fashion, Marilyn Hawes and also Dr. Rob Hicks. And now let's head over to Sanni Sorma for some makeup products that you should throw out right this minute. Take it away, Sanni.
Hi, I'm Sanni and I am the resident makeup artist here on the Chrissy B Show. And today I thought I'd talk to you about decluttering. Now, minimalism is kind of a journey that I've been on, and as a makeup artist, I have accumulated way too much makeup and cosmetics and hair products and all of that kind of stuff. But really, in order to start decluttering, it's good to have, I would say, kind of an easy jump start, and I'm going to list 8 things that you can get rid of in your cabinet and your bathroom today, and you don't even have to worry about it. And number 1 is probably what I have to do most regularly is testers that I don't use. Now, I get testers from beauty counters, we all get them from magazines, all sorts of things, and I keep them in a little plastic bag. However, I don't actually like half of these. They're just things that I have kept to myself because I thought, oh, when I travel, I'll use them, or oh, I might have a client that might like them. But to be honest, I don't really use them. The ones that I like, I use immediately. So out they go. Now, the next one is really important, sunscreens. And as we live in the UK, we don't really use sunscreens all year round, so they can get old very quickly. Now, this product is actually kind of, it's half makeup, half sunscreen. This is a SPF 50, and obviously when it's summer, I do wear SPF 50 all the time to protect my skin. But if this is over a year old, and I actually remember that I bought this about a year and a half ago, the SPF is no longer guaranteed. So this could be SPF 20 or SPF 10 now. The SPF starts going down. So this is no longer safe for me to use. And especially if you're somebody that burns easily, really make sure, you could even mark it at the bottom of the product when you opened it, when you started using it. So the 1 year is from the day you start using it. So when you expose the product to air, I guess. So yeah, mark it in the bottom so that you know when you started using it. So this goes into the bin. Now, this one is a bad one for me. Products without caps. So I have a really bad tendency of actually dropping caps in toilets. And this is absolute truth. My bathroom cabinet is right on top of my toilet. And so I have a lot of products without caps. I keep them, but I'm sure that anybody that uses cosmetics, you'll know that if it's in constant contact with air, it actually degrades a lot faster than it should. That's why we have caps. We keep that like outside of constant contact with air. And so this product probably is no longer good for me. I think it's been without a cap for, I would say 3 or 4 months. I love it, but really I should get rid of it. So out it goes. Next one is purchases you feel guilty about. Now, I spent a lot of money on this palette. It is a highlighting and blush palette. It's beautiful, but actually it doesn't perform nearly as well as I hoped. I kind of went for the brand that is kind of difficult to get here in the UK, and I was really excited about the hype about this product on Instagram and Pinterest. But when I bought it, I realized that the insane amount of money that I spent on it wasn't really worth it. And that is what I think about when I use this product. So it doesn't, cosmetics are meant to make you feel happy, but this doesn't make me feel happy. It makes me feel guilty. So instead of actually throwing this away, I'm probably gonna give this to a lovely, deserving person, because this one will be loved by somebody. It's just not loved by me, because I just feel like I spent crazy amounts of money on something that I should have not spent money on. So that's not gonna go in the bin, that's gonna go onto the side and it'll be donated. Next one, really, really important, is mascara. So if your mascara is over 6 months old, please, please get rid of it. Ideally, you get rid of it after 3 months. That would be the rule, but I know that, you know, buying a new mascara every 3 months will start getting a little bit expensive. So 6 months is the absolute minimum. Mascaras collect more bacteria than any other makeup product, so you are in danger of giving yourself an eye infection and all host of things. So please get rid of your mascara when it's time. So out that goes. Next one is kind of a funny one because I do this a lot. Products that I have bought for the packaging. So this product has such cute packaging. It has a little tiny spoon inside, and I used a little tiny spoon to get the product out of it, and I absolutely love the packaging. I think it's so cute. It's very cumbersome, and the actual product that's in there is not what I thought it was, but I'm keeping it for the packaging, and really, I've got other products that do a better job. Packaging might not be as cute and quirky, but I think I'm gonna use the ones that I actually like. Speaking of liking, products that do not make you happy are next on the list. This product is a lash thickener, if I can get it open. It's one of those things that you put on your lashes before you put on mascara, and it makes your lashes thicker. The reason why this product doesn't make me happy is this specific brand is actually really bad about animal testing, and it's not a cruelty-free brand, and that's something that's close to my heart. So when I use this, I just think of poor little bunnies, so it really doesn't make me happy. So out it goes. And the last tip for me is products that are no longer appropriate to you. Now this could be for whatever reason. The example that I've got here is hair wax. Now a year ago I had really short hair. I had like a little pixie cut, and I was using hair wax every single day. Now if I was to put on hair wax, I think my hair would look quite bizarre. I could put a little bit at the ends, but it's the product that I have here is not appropriate to my hair anymore. And the same thing goes for hair, like skin cream. So if your skin used to be oily, but now it's more dry, don't save it, get rid of it. Only use stuff that is appropriate to yourself at any given moment. And also just know that basically we're all kind of like, our skin is changing, our hair is changing, we're all on this little road, and you don't need to hang on to stuff that's no longer appropriate. You can either, this one is relatively full, so I'm actually gonna give this away, I'm not gonna bin it, but I am not cutting my hair short anytime soon, so out this goes as well. So that is my 8 products that you can start decluttering today. I probably would, if I had longer, I could probably list 50 things that you could declutter, but I think it's a really good jump start to start kind of getting rid of some extra clutter in your life. So those are my tips, and I will be back again soon.
Thank you so much to Sanni there, and she'll be back very soon with some more top tips. Now, if our previous chat with Ils of MATUVU Fashion had you thinking about how dressing up can lift your mood, here are some tips on how to dress more confidently and tips that I apply myself. So let's go to the first one, which I have mentioned recently, is to find your colours. Now, we all look good in certain colours, and if you are wearing the wrong kind of colours, that can drain your face very much, make you look a lot older. So it's good actually to know the kind of colours that complement you. And if you'd like to know more about this, we do have a video on our YouTube channel. If you go to House of Colour, and you can find out how to get colour readings and things like that if you need to, or you can just look things up online to find out what colours suit you. The second one, along the same lines, is to know your shape. So first of all, it's important to love your body shape. We all come in different shapes and sizes, so embrace your own shape. Now, of course, if you're overweight and unhealthy, you need to work on that so you can have the best version of your body shape that you can. So find out your shape and research the kind of clothes that actually go with your body shape, and that can make a world of difference and make you feel really good about how you're dressing and bring confidence to you as well. The third one is to consider the occasion. So I had quite a recent experience with this where I got it completely wrong. I went to an event and I didn't actually find out beforehand the kind of things that people would be wearing and stuff. So I turned up in this really nice red dress. Most other people were dressed sort of with dark colours, with black, and the dress that I was wearing was really bright and bold. And when I walked in and I noticed that no one else was wearing like anything colourful or wasn't as dressed up, I felt really out of place. And to make it worse, my husband thought it would be quite amusing as I was walking in to sing Lady in Red in front of everyone. So I was so embarrassed. I wanted to go home and get changed, but he said, no, stay, you look really nice. I got complimented a lot, but I didn't like that attention because I knew I wasn't dressed appropriately for the occasion. So do consider, where are you going? What kind of event is it? Is it a more formal event? Is it somewhere where it's more dressy and people, because in the opposite way, you could actually go somewhere very underdressed. Maybe everyone's wearing, posh evening wear, and you go just wearing a suit or something. Again, you're going to feel uncomfortable in those situations. So make sure you do find out beforehand, and that will add a lot to your confidence, trust me. The fourth one is to make sure you're comfortable in what you're wearing. Again, I never forget the very first Chrissy B show that we did back in June 2012. And obviously I was very nervous about the whole thing. The show back then was live, and I went to someone basically dressed me, found an outfit for me and everything. And because I was worried about so many things, I wasn't really thinking about my outfit. I wore this dress and I had my hair done in a certain way, and it was so out of the norm for me what I was wearing. It was like quite a tight fitted dress, a colour that I would never wear. My hair was really tight curls. I felt so uncomfortable, and imagine it's my first live show on my own. I had all these guests on, I had so much to think about, I was so nervous, and then on top of that, feeling uncomfortable in what I was wearing. So make sure, okay, it's nice to obviously look good and everything like that, but you have to make sure that, do you feel comfortable in what you're wearing? I'm not saying that you should go around in trainers all the time and stuff, of course, but depending on the occasion, but you can still be comfortable and look good and look smart. So just make sure you put all those things together, and you will see that you will feel more confident. But something I wanted to touch on finally, are you actually hiding behind your clothes? Now, I used to wear a lot of black clothing before because I was really depressed. As you can see, without depression, I love bright colors. So see if the way you are dressing and the colors that you're actually dressing in, is this actually just a style, or is it a reflection of how you're actually feeling and any struggles that you might be going through right now? And if you do kind of do that checkup on yourself and see, and it is something more to do with what you're going through and things that have happened to you in life, then it's time to actually do something about that and get the help that you need. And if you'd like to know more about my mental health issues and how I overcame depression and panic attacks and all sorts of other mental health issues, you can visit my personal website, which is mylifeafterdepression.com. Well, everyone, we have reached the end of today's program, but don't forget, if you have a story that you would like to share, or maybe you have some comments about this program today, we do love to hear from our viewers. So please do email us on info at chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Until next time, bye-bye for now.